Welcome back, guys. Let's take notes or do a reflection on reasons for migration, the purpose behind moving. So before we get into it, it's important that you guys know and understand those three main types of population policies: expansive, restrictive, and eugenic. So if you can't remember the difference between the three, make sure you go back and watch the old video. But let's just have a basic foundational vocab word: migration, right? Which is moving from one area to another. Here we see a train of people migrating to different countries, both a metaphorical like caravan train and a real train with people on the roof. But it's worth asking, why would people want to leave their home country? And we call those reasons push factors, things that are pushing them away from their home country. And in real life, those could be natural disasters, lack of jobs, wars or violence, shortage of foods, or political oppression. All of those are push factors. And those are reasons that make someone an emigrant, someone who would leave a country. Emigrant with an E. But once you leave a country, you need to find a new place to go to. And that's where the vocab about coming and entering into a new country comes in. So pull factors are the reasons that make you want to go to a specific country. And in real life, those could be things like better jobs, better education, better healthcare, where your family is. Those are all pull factors that could pull people to immigrate into a certain country. Notice how I said immigrate, not emigrate, because immigrate with an I is entering a country. So an immigrant is someone who enters a country versus emigrant, someone who leaves a country. It's a small detail, but it's important in order to have the vocab to discuss these complex issues that we've been discussing. And then there's a couple different types of migration. First, we can look at internal versus external. So internal is moving from place to place within a country. One huge example of that was the Great Migration, when many African Americans moved north after the Civil War. There's actually been multiple great migrations in this country's history. But there's also external migration, and that's moving from one country to another. And in real life, many people move from Latin America to the United States. And here we can see a path through Mexico that many immigrants from Latin America take. So besides internal and external migration, there's also forced migration. Forced migration is when you don't have a choice to leave, right? That's known as involuntary migration. You're forced to move out of someplace. That could be like the Trail of Tears, where Native Americans were forced into reservations. And when you're forced to leave somewhere, you often become a refugee. That's someone who's forced to leave their country because of war, persecution, or a natural disaster. A few years ago, during the civil war in Syria, there was, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Syrian refugees who were trying to find homes. And it was very controversial whether countries like America or countries in Europe would accept Syrian refugees, and if so, how many would they accept? But not all migration is forced. There's also voluntary migration. And that's when people move because they wanted to, because of their choice. Say you want to move to Italy to become involved in the fashion industry, or you want to move to another country for a better job or to get a job. Those would be voluntary reasons. And so those were our notes on reasons for migration. Make sure you submit those notes or you write or record a reflection on what you've learned today. I'll see you back in class.